What is going on, everybody? Shane Sams here, Flip Lifestyle Podcast. Got a special edition of the show today where I'm going to talk a little bit about coronavirus. Coronavirus is all over the news right now. You're probably seeing it. It's kind of causing everybody to freak out and panic a little bit. And I thought, you know what? I need to get on here. I need to lead a little bit. I need to talk a little bit. I need to explain a little bit what I'm thinking about the coronavirus, what's happening with coronavirus, and just talk about it on this special edition of the podcast. Now, I do want to preface this, as always, by I ain't no scientist, y'all, right? So if you're here looking for coronavirus models of spread and chances of death and all these numbers and things, like I'm going to leave that over to the scientists. I'm not going to be talking anything about, the actual disease itself. I just thought it would be good to have a little real talk, a little real conversation. Maybe we could tap into a little bit of common sense and wisdom on the topic for a few minutes today. And, let's talk about coronavirus. It's a big deal. Last night, President Trump came on the cameras, addressed the nation. And what was scary about it to me was, Trump, love him or hate him, he is always confident, and he always finds a way to spin his message to the most positive, favorable thing to what he's trying to get across, right? Sometimes it might not always be totally true, but he's really good at being confident and spinning that stuff. And last night, he was really, really disciplined. He was really, really focused. He read through the teleprompter the whole way, didn't ad-lib very much. And, he looked like a guy that knew some things that maybe we didn't. And he looked like a guy who had seen some information that made him have pause and say, hey, we need to do some dramatic things. We all saw on the news last night. We all saw in the president's speech, hey, they've shut down traffic. They've shut down trade and travel between the United States and Europe. That's crazy, guys. That is absolutely crazy when you think about how many people on a daily basis go back and forth between the United States and Europe. That's going to cause a huge disruption in business, in commerce, in capitalism, in trade, and it's going to have a massive impact on the economy. And the other thing about it is, like, who do we believe? Over the last couple years, political rhetoric has been crazy. Like, one news station over here, Fox News is saying one thing, CNN saying another, MSNBC saying something else, and then we're all going to all of our little micro blogs and niche sites trying to piece together the truth. And it's really, really hard to know, like, who to believe and what kind of information. Some people say, oh, it's no big deal. Some people say it's the end of times. So it's really hard to get like true information out there and figure out exactly what's happening. But what we do see are some scary facts, guys. We see high death rates in Italy. The entire country has shut down. Right here in the United States, in Washington State, the death rate is like over 10-20% or something like that, crazy, of the people who have had this. And this is really impacting our elderly population in a really negative way. I've got older parents. My dad is almost 80 years old, and that worries me. That gives me pause, like, to think about, hey, I've got to at least look at this seriously, because I don't want to be healthy myself because I'm younger, or my kids be healthy and they go and get, my parents or their grandparents sick. So a lot of confusion, a lot of misinformation out there. Nobody really knows what to do. Stock market is dropping. Like, I think it's going to dip below 20,000 for the first time in years. Some crazy stuff out there, and I want to talk about that a little bit. So let me share some of my thoughts on coronavirus real quick. What's happening? How to be wise? How to be smart? What can you do? What can't you do? And also how it impacts the economy, and how it impacts offline business, how it impacts online business, how things are gonna actually change in our world. So the first thought I had today was this is serious. Like, you are not being very wise. You are not being very smart if you don't think this is serious. Now, I know there's some people that think this is a hoax and it's all planted, and, they're just trying to scare us, and they're trying to do this. It's all hoax. Everybody's overreacting. And then there's, people on the other side are saying this is literally the zombie apocalypse, and I am the wisest person in the room, and I have looked at the models, and I can tell you that everyone's going to die, right? Like, so we have these two massive extremes. What I argue is it doesn't matter which one of those two camps are right. It doesn't matter if you think it's a hoax. It doesn't matter if you think this is the end of time and, millions of people are going to die and we got Spanish flu 2 going on here. This is going to impact you. This is going to have a huge, serious impact on the economy, on your wallet, maybe on your health, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. Like, this is just the beginning. This is just starting, guys. I think about some of the things that have already happened from a business perspective, from an economy perspective. Just a couple weeks ago, South by Southwest, one of the biggest conferences on the planet, happens in Austin, Texas, and they canceled this thing a couple days before. I was in California just a couple weeks ago at a small event that was piggybacking off of Social Media Marketing World, and I'm sure that Michael Stelzner and his crew are sitting there going, gosh, I'm glad we got past that fast, because all of these conferences are closing down. And think about all the people who rely on conferences like South by Southwest. When 100,000 people come into Austin, $350 million pouring into that city, that evaporated overnight. Like, think about all the servers at restaurants who make a ton of money and rely on that for their income every year. Think about all the stores where people are shopping. But not only that, think about all the connections and business deals that were not made because the expo conference part of the entire conference, there's always an expo place where all the businesses set up, people come in, they sell contracts, they get deals, they make friends, and they make these huge things happen at these conferences. None of those connections are being made there this year. None of those deals are being made. None of those purchase orders are being written. And, Jocelyn and I always talk about throwing your pebble in the pond and rippling out and impacting as many people as you can. But that works in reverse too. Like, this was a massive ripple that's going to go out from that particular conference that's going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars in the economy. But now we're seeing a domino effect where all of these conferences are closing. Now, people who rely on speaking to make their living are not making a living. Conference organizers, look, I have planned a large conference before 2 years in a row, and I know how hard it is, and I know how much it costs up front and how much risk you have to take just to open the doors at those conferences. And all of those people are going to suffer, and all of those cities are going to suffer. And it's spreading out beyond conferences. The NCAA basketball tournament just announced they're going to have the entire tournament with no fans in the stands. Like, think about that. Like, so Dayton, Ohio is always one of the locations for one of the first rounds of the NCAA tournament where they have basketball. That stadium probably holds 10,000 people. So think about that. In that little town, Dayton, Ohio, 10,000 people who normally show up aren't going to show up. Those restaurants aren't going to make any money. The airlines aren't going to make any money. The hotels are not going to make any money. Okay? And then all those businesses that those people do business with are going to suffer. Like, if the hotel can't do money, if the restaurant can't do money, then the people that work in those establishments can't go out into the community, and maybe they put off the haircut a couple weeks, and that hurts the barber. Maybe they let their insurance slide for a week on their car, and that hurts the insurance agent, and it just keeps spiraling out beyond that. These are huge, huge decisions being made right now. The NBA just canceled their entire season. Put it on they suspended it because one player in the whole league got coronavirus. And that's going to have massive impact on economies, especially real world physical brick and mortar businesses for months, if not years. Italy just announced today that they're going to be canceling and closing. They ordered all bars and restaurants to shut down. And now that's going to ripple out. They were already reeling from this thing. Their health system's falling apart. Their death rate is really, really high. It's really, really high for this virus, and they're trying to stop the spread of it. So, I don't care if you think people are overreacting, and I don't care if you think people are underreacting. The bottom line is this does affect you, and it affects everybody in this country and all over the world, and it's going to keep affecting us over the next next few months, if not years. Okay? All right, so the second thought I had today is this. I've seen a lot of people really freaking out. We've had a lot of members reaching out to us and saying, hey, what's going on? Like I'm doing a live event in Orlando. The people are like, are we going to do this? I'm like, yeah, we're still going to do it. Everything's going to be, we're not going to give in to total panic here. And that was an observation that I made, is that the virus is a serious threat. Like, we do have to take it seriously, whether you believe it's overreacting or not. But fear is the real enemy. Like, when people start getting hysterical and they start being afraid and they start panicking, that's when things really go off the rails. We're seeing that right now in the stock market. People are afraid. They're selling everything. and they're getting out of the market, and no good news is coming out of anywhere that's making the stock market kind of stop its slide, and that's wiping out massive amounts of value. People's retirements are going down. My retirement was down like almost 20%. I think 2 or 3 days ago. So I checked it and I was like, yep, not logging back in that for a while because it was awful. And, our IRAs and everything are just down right now. And it's because of fear. It's because of panic. It's because of hysteria. So from a wisdom perspective, y'all, let's all calm down. Let's all just calm down a little bit. Everybody should be prepared, but you shouldn't be scared. Right? We want to be prepared. I went out and shopped, and, we did an extra grocery run this week. We went out and got some extra things. I made sure that we had a couple weeks extra stuff in the pantry. We bought a little bit more non-perishable items this week than we normally do. And, we bought a couple jugs of water, and like everybody else in the country, we went out and bought some extra toilet paper because it's running out. Amazon was out of toilet paper the other day, guys. If that tells you anything. So, it's one thing to be prepared. You should be prepared for your family. But you shouldn't hoard, and you shouldn't go crazy. It's serious, but this is not the end of civilization, y'all. Supply lines are going to get disrupted. We've got problems getting things from China right now, problems getting things from Europe. Everybody's going to have to shift and move around and maybe use a little less. And you are going to have to think about your pocketbook and maybe tighten it up just a little bit to be, a good, responsible, safe adult. But don't hoard things. I heard something interesting on Twitter the other day. There was an economist on there talking about hoarding how bad these panic situations are. Like, I'm going to take care of my family, and I'm going to get 6 months of stuff in the pantry and ready to go. But that really hurts families who live paycheck to paycheck. 30% of people in the United States don't even have enough money, like any money in their savings account. Like, they literally wait for the next paycheck to go to the grocery store. And if you go in and you hoard everything and the shelves are empty, those people who don't have that luxury will go in and nothing be there for them, and nothing be there for their kids, and nothing be there for their family. And that can be very destabilizing. So, be prepared. Don't be scared. That's how my family is taking this. Jocelyn and I are like, okay, it's serious. We're not going to panic. We're not going to freak out. We're kind of yin and yanging off of each other and balancing everything out right now. Jocelyn's, I'm more of the be over prepared. She's more of the be under prepared. So we're trying to find that happy medium in the beginning. And Jocelyn actually was like, man, trips to Mexico are really cheap right now because the flights were so cheap and nobody's traveling. We're like, that's interesting. And I'm like, but will we get stuck there? So you have to balance it all out. But, think about yourself, think about your neighbors. I would actually challenge everybody right now to reach out to 2 neighbors and just check on them and be like, hey, things are everybody's freaking out right now, but just want to know I got your back. Let me know how you're doing. Are you getting laid off? Is your workplace closing? Are they making you work at home? Make sure that you're staying in contact with people. Call them. You ain't got to go over there, and you can do your social distancing and stay 6 feet away. But check on your neighbors. Make sure everything's okay. Don't panic. Don't try to go out and buy everything in the store where nobody else has anything either. The best way that we're all going to get through this is to get through it together. And, if we do that, we'll be all right. Okay. The third thing that I really latched onto this morning as I woke up and kind of slept on all the news yesterday and everything else was, man, thank God I have an online business. I'm serious about that. Thank God that I have an online business. Thank God that I already work at home. Thank God that I can, I'm self-employed and I can limit my interaction with people, in the real world if I have to, and I can go, online. I'm talking to you right now on this podcast. I'm talking to you right now on video. If you're watching this somewhere on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and, having an online business and making my entire living online really does give me some flexibility and freedom to react, I think, better to this than working offline. My memberships give me stability. Not going to lie. Our sales are down a little bit this month. Our cancellations are up just a little bit. I can see the scary panickiness kind of creeping even into the online world. But my online memberships, I got hundreds, and we have thousands of customers all over the world. It's spread out in different areas. Maybe some people up here are having a lot of coronavirus, and maybe some people down here are not really being affected by it. And, that's keeping all of our income really stable. We have a lot of time to react because we have a subscription-based business. So even if a month or two is shaved off retention because of all of this, that's still going to give us months and months to react to to any big shifts. Coronavirus, last I checked, cannot be spread through forums or in earbuds or on screens. So I don't have to. I'm listening to you right now. You don't have to worry, or you're listening to me right now, and I don't have to worry about giving coronavirus to you if I got it, and I ain't got to worry about getting it from you. We can still have a conversation. We can still talk. Jumped on a conference call on Zoom yesterday with somebody who was in, Oregon, which is up there in the Northwest, where coronavirus is a little bit more serious right now, and so that was cool. I don't have to worry about being around, tons of people. Something that's happening right here, right now, which is crazy, is I'm pretty sure like our school district is closing for a month. Our kids are going to be coming home for a month. And like with coronavirus and it affecting elderly people, like I don't want them going over to the grandparents. I don't want them staying at the grandparents' house and risking them. So like, this is a weird situation. It's not a snow day. It's not something planned like summer vacation or Christmas break. It's our kids are coming home for a month. And I believe the entire state of Kentucky is about to cancel school, and, universities and school districts all over the country are going to be shutting down. There's a good chance that not one kid's going to be in school. What is it, 40 million school-age kids in America or something like that? And all that's about to happen. But the amazing thing about working online and having an online business is I don't have to worry about that. I can work around it. I can help my kids get situated. We're home with the kids. Me and Jocelyn can tag team it. We both work at home. And I know that's a devastating thing that can happen to people like who have to be at work. I think about all the healthcare workers, like what is it? 30-40% of nurses have kids in the school system. Like where are those kids going to go? Is it going to put elderly people at risk? Like, how do we keep our healthcare workers in an already taxed system as this thing, spreads or gets worse? But when you own an online business, when you're self-employed, and I know everybody can't do this, like nurses and healthcare workers, but like when you do have some kind of side hustle coming in online, it gives you a little edge. It gives you a little more security. It gives you a little, stability. Our doctor actually he's got a really cool business model. He has online, meetings. Like if we get sick, I can jump on a Zoom call with my doctor. I can send him a message on his app, and we can actually talk to him. It's really neat. And, that might be some things that are happening pretty soon, even in the healthcare field. And I just really got to thinking this morning, man, I am so glad and I'm so thankful that I have a way to make an income online. And I wish that everyone would realize that even if you don't go self-employed, there's people, you love your job, you want to be at your job, and you want to work at your job, and it's your mission and it's your passion, and that's awesome. You should do that. But like, even having like, I don't know, a micro membership, subscription side hustle, right? Like even if you had 30, 40 people paying you $50 a month, that could be $1,500, $2,000 extra dollars a month. If you have to take off 2 weeks, that means your budget's not going to be destroyed. You're going to have money for your mortgage or your car payment, and you're going to be able to keep the groceries full, and maybe have a little extra money to go out and plan ahead a little bit. And having an online business, being self-employed, that's great. But man, a micro membership, a side hustle based on subscriptions is what you really need. Like the economy and the membership economy and the gig economy is all set up to do these things. And I'm just so thankful today that I have an online business and that I have a membership and that I have options. And I'm actually like, okay, let's take control. Like how are we going to go out and market our memberships in the next 6 months? How are we going to help people and serve people and bring value to people during this very scary time? Like we have control over that. And, I just wish more people would realize it's not just about quitting your job. It's not just about all that. It's about having a little backstop for your family, having extra income to go out to the grocery store when, things are looking a little weird. It's having maybe a little extra money in your pocket to help a neighbor out, go out and say, hey, here's $100, go, buy some extra chicken noodle soup if you need it, and, or, hey, I know you're struggling right now. Hey, look, I make a little extra money online. I'll watch your kids a couple hours so you can go get some work done, or, things like that, like where you can really have that stability and you can have that backstop and you can raise the floor of what your life looks like. You don't have to fall to zero, guys. The internet allows us, even at home, even during a crisis, to be able to create income, to be able to create stability and raise the floor of our life so that the falls that we all inevitably face are not as hard as they are. So, that was my last thought about the coronavirus. I'm just really thankful today that I get to podcast, that I get to YouTube, that I get to Facebook, that I get to help people, and that my business may change, but It can continue. And, this is a huge civilization level event, whether you like it or not. And it's really cool that an online business exists, that the internet exists and allows us to ride these huge waves that maybe people in the past could never have done, and many of us do. So those are my thoughts on the coronavirus. One, this is serious. Please take it seriously. I don't care if you think it's a hoax. I don't care if you think it's the end of time. It's somewhere in between, and it is going to affect millions of people's lives, hundreds of millions of people's lives all over the world, and we got to take care of each other. We've got to take care of each other over the next few months, guys. We have to be patient and calm, and we have to love each other. And it is a serious thing. Even if the virus isn't as real as everybody says it is, the economic impact is 1,000,000% as real as it's looking online and on the news. Fear is the enemy. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, y'all. Hey, listen, you have to be afraid before you can be brave. So what an amazing opportunity that you have in your life right now to be brave. You have a chance to find your courage. You have a chance to calm your kids. You have a chance to lead your neighbors, to lead your online communities. If you have an online membership and you're listening to this podcast right now, I encourage you to do what I'm doing right now. Talk to your audience. Talk to your members. Don't be afraid of this conversation, and don't shrink back and disappear from the people that rely on you for leadership and need you the most. Get online every day. Talk about it, okay? And, take advantage. Don't give in to fear. Take advantage of this opportunity where you're already a little bit afraid to find courage and be brave. And finally, again, thank God I have an online business, and I just hope that everyone out there would find the courage. Maybe this is the time, if you're going home from work, to start a membership, start an online business, start that micro membership. Go get you 10, 20 members to have a little extra grocery money. Start your subscription side hustle. It could be, the difference in you riding out this coronavirus wave or being drowned by it, like losing your job. I really just pray every day for going forward for these restaurant owners. Because that causes ripples through communities that we can't even put a number on. And it doesn't have to be that way. We have the internet. We have ways to create other forms of incomes. Right? We have ways to make a little extra money, if not go all the way and become totally self-employed. And we should take advantage of that. And that should be a part of the solution to pandemics, to natural disasters, to all these things that we're dealing with as people that are not going to ever go away. That should be a part of it. And as always, Jocelyn and I are here for you guys. If you've got any concerns, you just want to talk to somebody and you need somebody to listen. Again, I'm not a scientist. I have none of the answers. I'm just trying to rely on some common sense, read that book over there on my counter as much as I can, and make really good, calm, patient decisions for me, my family, my community, my neighbors, and for everybody online that pays any attention to us. And you can find all the help that you need over at our website. Go to flippedlifestyle.com, FLIPPED lifestyle.com. We do have a free trial. If you got 30 days off here, go take the whole thing for free. I don't care. We just want you to learn. We just want you to take action. We just want you to have more stability. We just want you to have more security. We want you to have a higher, have a backstop that keeps you from falling so far when bad things happen. And, everything that we do is available for free for 30 days over at flippedlifestyle.com/free. So you can check that out. I'm going to be doing member calls. I'm probably going to do a weekly member call this month. I'm going to add some member calls because I know that my community is really concerned about this. I know a lot of you are really concerned about this, and we can talk about it, and we can dial in on the business ramifications of this, and which is how we all feed our families. That's how we stay warm, dry, and fed. And I'm going to be adding some extra member calls so that we can all rally together as a community, rally together as a group. And I'd love to have you on those member calls. It's going to be a lot more active on social during the next couple months as this coronavirus thing peaks and we see what really is going to happen in the economy. And if those of you who are having financial struggles because of this, maybe you've already been laid off, maybe your business is closed, maybe they've sent you home to work remotely, whatever it is causing any kind of financial hardship because of this thing. Jocelyn and I are praying for you. We're praying for your family. And just know that you're not alone. We're all going to get through this together, and it's going to be just fine. It's going to be okay. I'm not going to say it's going to be just fine. It might be hard, but it's going to be okay. It ain't going to be perfect. It never is. But it might be a little less perfect than even normal. going forward. So we're praying for you if you're having any kind of financial struggle. If you've actually been touched by the coronavirus, if you have it, we're praying for your healing. If we're praying for you, your family, that they don't get it. If someone in your family or one of your friends has the coronavirus, or God forbid has already passed away because of the coronavirus, just know that we're praying for you. We weep with those who weep. We mourn with those who mourn, and we're praying for you and your community, and I hope that you pray for us too. And I found this really good Bible verse that I really wanted to share here at the end of this podcast today. I hope that it's helped you. I hope we talked through some issues. I'm just trying to get some stuff off my chest too, guys, just to try to say this stuff out loud so it's not beating around in my brain. But got this great Bible verse from 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13. And the Bible says, "Be on your guard. Stand firm in the faith. Be courageous. Be strong." And I think that Bible verse really encompasses a wise way to handle a pandemic of this level, a wise way to handle an economic gut punch as bad as this is going to be. Be on your guard. Be on your guard. Wash your hands. Stay clean. Keep your kids clean. Keep them away from those elderly people who are at risk, right? Stand firm in the faith. We got nothing to be afraid of, man. God's got all this under control. He knew this was going to happen before we even discovered there was a coronavirus. So stand firm in the faith. We're good. Everything's going to be all right. Make sure you're praying continuously and make sure that you're facing that adversity with the word. Be courageous. Hey, being courageous means you were afraid first. Be courageous. Be courageous. And be strong. Act boldly. Take advantage of this situation, not in a bad way, but a good way. Let it look at your life. Where is this shining a spotlight on problems in your supply lines for groceries, for toilet paper, for food? Let it shine a spotlight on where maybe some of your fears and your insecurities are. And if you've been putting off things like creating side income, creating stability for you and your family, maybe it's time you take action. Maybe it's time you be strong. Maybe this is not the time you go into the cave and hide. Maybe it's the time you walk out and you fight a little bit. So be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, and be strong. Jocelyn and I are here for you. We're praying for you. We love you. We're all going to be all right. And we are going to be doing a lot more conversation about this and helping our people. We're going to grow. We're going to grow during this, guys. We're going to do everything we can. We may get sick, but we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep serving. We're going to keep dropping value. We're going to keep moving together in a positive direction. And even if we fall forward, we're still going to keep moving forward. And we're going to come out of this just all okay. All right. Love you guys. Praying for you guys. Hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Stay tuned. Got another back to our normal programming next week. I might jump on here every couple weeks and talk a little bit more about it. But we're not alone. We're in this together, and we're going to make it out the other side. Peace. Love y'all.